Ever wondered why some people amass wealth while others struggle financially all their lives? This question has puzzled many for centuries, and the key to unlocking this mystery lies within our understanding of money and wealth creation. Picture this: two individuals, same age, same education, same job, but one ends up wealthy while the other struggles paycheck to paycheck. The difference? Financial literacy. Understanding the language of money is like having a roadmap to wealth. It's knowing not just how to earn money, but how to manage it, grow it, and protect it. That's what separates the financially free from those buried under the weight of financial stress. Now there's a book that brilliantly encapsulates these principles: Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's not your typical finance book. Instead, it's a story, a tale of two dads with contrasting views on money. One, the rich dad, understands the power of financial literacy. The other, the poor dad, despite his hard work and high income, is always on the brink of financial disaster. Kiyosaki's book is a journey into the world of finance, a world that may seem complex and daunting, but is actually governed by a few simple principles. It's about understanding that money is a tool, and like any tool, its effectiveness depends on the skill of the person wielding it. Just think about it. If you were given $1 million today, would you know what to do with it? Would you know how to make it grow, how to protect it? Or would you find yourself, a few years down the line, wondering where it all went? Rich Dad, Poor Dad provides the answers to these questions and more. It's a guide to financial freedom, a manual for those who want to break free from the cycle of financial struggle and step into a world of wealth and prosperity. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the principles of wealth creation as outlined in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What if you could learn the secrets of the rich and apply them in your life? Imagine having a roadmap to wealth, a guide that shows you not just how to earn money, but how to keep it and make it grow. That's what Robert Kiyosaki offers in his groundbreaking book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Today, we delve into the first few chapters, where Kiyosaki introduces us to the lessons taught by his rich dad. This is not a tale of quick fixes or overnight success. It's about understanding money, how it works, and how to make it work for you. Kiyosaki's rich dad wasn't a millionaire by accident. He understood the importance of financial education, a subject often overlooked in our school systems. He knew that understanding money, its flows, and its mechanisms is a crucial step towards financial independence. One of the most significant lessons Kiyosaki learned from his rich dad was the difference between assets and liabilities. Now, this might sound like accounting 101, but it's surprising how many of us get this wrong. In simple terms, an asset puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes money out. The rich dad's secret was to invest his money in assets, things like real estate, stocks, and businesses. These assets generate income, which can then be reinvested to create more assets. On the other hand, liabilities are the things that drain your wealth. They're the fancy cars, the big houses, the things we often associate with being rich. But these things don't produce income. They consume it. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you're rich because you have expensive things. But true wealth is not about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep. And more importantly, it's about how much your money earns for you. This is the principle that underpins the rich dad's philosophy. Don't work for money, make money work for you. Another lesson from the rich dad is the importance of taking risks. No, not reckless, uncalculated risks, but measured, informed risks. The kind of risks that can lead to significant rewards. The rich dad understood that in the world of money and investing, no risk often means no reward. And finally, the rich dad taught Kiyosaki about the power of perseverance. Building wealth is not a sprint, it's a marathon. It requires patience, discipline, and a willingness to keep learning, even when things get tough. These are just a few of the lessons from Kiyosaki's rich dad. Lessons that have the potential to transform your financial future if you're willing to learn and apply them. So the trick is not just making money, but knowing how to keep it and make it work for you. But what about the so-called conventional wisdom about money? Let's explore the perspective of the poor dad in our narrative. This figure represents the mindset of those who follow traditional views about money, wealth, and success. This is the person who advocates for the virtues of hard work, penny pinching, and steering clear of financial risks. The poor dad perspective is not necessarily a negative one. It's a perspective carved out of caution, practicality, and a desire for stability. It's the voice inside our heads that says, work hard, save every penny, and avoid risks at all costs. This perspective champions the belief that education and a steady job are the surefire paths to financial security. But let's delve a bit deeper into this mindset. The poor dad often equates money with survival, thus creating a fear-based relationship with it. This fear can lead to avoidance, where instead of actively seeking ways to grow and invest money, the focus shifts to merely saving and holding on to it. This mindset can limit financial growth, as it often discourages individuals from exploring opportunities that carry even the slightest risk. Moreover, the poor dad perspective often views money as a scarce resource, a finite pie where someone's gain is inevitably someone else's loss. This zero-sum thinking can stifle creativity and innovation, as it discourages the exploration of new ideas and opportunities. So, while the poor dad perspective might provide a sense of security and stability, it can also limit financial growth and freedom. It's like standing in a walled garden. It might be safe and comfortable, but it also restricts your view of the world and the opportunities it offers. In the end, it's not about completely dismissing the poor dad perspective. There's value in hard work, saving, and caution. But it's also important to realize that these alone might not lead to the financial freedom and wealth that many of us aspire to. Perhaps it's time to rethink our traditional beliefs about money and wealth. Can your mindset really influence your wealth? Well, according to the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's a resounding yes. Mindset, as it turns out, plays a crucial role in determining not only our wealth, but our overall financial success. The book presents two contrasting mindsets, the rich mindset and the poor mindset. Let's delve into these concepts a little deeper. The rich mindset is all about seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. It's about taking calculated risks, investing in assets, and continuously seeking knowledge. It's about understanding that money is a tool that can work for you, rather than you working for it. On the other hand, the poor mindset is often characterized by fear and scarcity. It's about playing it safe, sticking to the known paths, and often being content with a paycheck-to-paycheck existence. It's about seeing money as something to be earned and spent, rather than something to be grown and invested. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's all well and good, but how does one actually shift from a poor mindset to a rich one? It's a fair question, and the answer lies in education and action. Firstly, it's about learning. The rich dad in the book often emphasizes the importance of financial education. Understanding the basics of money, investing, and assets can drastically shift your perspective. It's about realizing that you have the power to control your financial destiny, rather than being at the mercy of your paycheck or your circumstances. Secondly, it's about taking action. Knowledge alone won't get you far unless you put it into practice. This might mean making investments, starting a side hustle, or simply budgeting and saving more effectively. It's about making decisions that align with your long-term financial goals rather than immediate gratification. Overcoming financial hurdles and achieving financial success isn't about luck or even just hard work. It's about adopting a mindset that sees possibilities rather than problems, that values growth over comfort, that understands the power of money and how to make it work for you. But remember, shifting your mindset isn't an overnight process. It takes time, patience, and a lot of unlearning and relearning. It might be uncomfortable at times, but as the saying goes, no pain, no gain. So let's start shifting our mindsets today. Let's start seeing money not as a finite resource to be feared, but as a tool to be used. Let's start understanding that our financial success is in our hands, and it begins with the right mindset. Remember, your mindset is a powerful tool that can either make or break your financial journey. So if you want to change your financial destiny, start by changing your mindset. But how can you apply these principles in your own life? That's the golden question, isn't it? It's one thing to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and be inspired by its lessons, but it's quite another to implement these principles into your daily life. Let's start with the first step, investing in your financial education. The book emphasizes the importance of understanding how money works. This doesn't necessarily mean you have to get a degree in finance, but you should strive to be financially literate. Start by reading books about finance and economics, attending seminars, or even taking online courses. The world of finance is vast and complex, but don't let that intimidate you. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Next, let's talk about building assets. In the book, the rich dad asserts that the poor and the middle class work for money, while the rich have money work for them. This is achieved by accumulating assets, such as real estate, stocks, bonds, or a business that generates income. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't have enough money to buy property or start a business. That's a valid concern, but building assets doesn't always require a huge initial investment. You can start small. For instance, you can invest in stocks or mutual funds with as little as a few $100s. The key is to start somewhere, no matter how small. It's also important to remember that building assets takes time. You won't become a millionaire overnight. Be patient, stay consistent, and keep learning. Over time, your assets will grow and start generating income, providing you with financial freedom. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, you need to change your mindset towards money. Many people have a negative or fearful attitude towards money, which prevents them from achieving financial success. The book encourages readers to see money as a tool that can be used to create wealth and freedom, rather than something to be feared or despised. Try to cultivate a positive and proactive attitude towards money. Instead of thinking, I can't afford this, ask yourself, how can I afford this? This shift in mindset can open up new possibilities and opportunities. In conclusion, applying the principles of Rich Dad, Poor Dad requires a commitment to financial education, a willingness to start building assets, and a change in your attitude towards money. It's not an easy journey, but it's definitely worth it. Remember, it's not just about reading the book, but truly understanding and applying its principles. Challenge yourself to take these steps, and you might just find yourself on the path to financial freedom. It's not just about reading the book, but truly understanding and applying its principles. So, are you ready to embark on your journey to financial freedom? As we draw to the end of our exploration of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's time to look back and recap the key points we've dissected. We began by unraveling the wealth dichotomy, understanding the stark differences between the rich and the poor, and how the attitudes towards money form the crux of this disparity. The rich make money work for them, while the poor work for money. That's a lesson that's as profound as it is simple. We then delved into the teachings of the Rich Dad, a man who believed in the power of financial education and the importance of investing in assets. He taught us that money is just a tool, and it's our mastery over this tool that dictates our wealth, not the amount of it we possess. From there, we moved on to the perspective of the Poor Dad, a well-educated man who believed in the traditional path of getting a good job and saving for retirement. His life serves as a reminder that financial success isn't necessarily tied to academic achievements or hard work alone. It requires financial literacy and a keen understanding of money management. The power of mindset was our next stop, a lesson that reiterated the importance of having a positive and proactive attitude towards wealth. It's not just about earning money, but also about keeping it, growing it, and using it wisely. Finally, we discussed how to apply these lessons in our own lives. We learned that financial freedom is achievable for anyone, regardless of their background or current economic status. It's all about making informed decisions, taking calculated risks, and constantly educating ourselves about financial matters. I encourage you all to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and apply its principles in your life. It's not just a book, but a guide towards financial freedom. Remember, as Robert Kiyosaki says, don't work for money, let money work for you. Remember, financial literacy is not a luxury, but a necessity. So start your journey today and unlock the door to financial success.